Afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I know there's quite a few of you in here who do know me. It's Hamilton. Okay, so we say Ham, what sort of name is that? It's Ham, everybody. I'm well known as Ham, okay, and I do know a lot of you people here. If you don't mind, I'd like to I'll take myself back a few years and maybe take you with me. Probably about 10 or 11 years ago. And I'd like to relate to you a little story which it has a bit about the past, the future, and before that, all in one, but in the past tense, if you get what I mean. Let me explain. Back where I come from, down in West Wales, you wouldn't have guessed that, would you? I was walking with my brother-in-law, Andy, in a little town called Ammanford. Well, most Welsh towns are little, but that's another story. Anyway, we were walking along, and we came along, and there was a gentleman walking towards us with a lovely blonde lady to his side, and in front of her, she was pushing a pushchair. And in it, which I found out subsequently, there were two blonde little girls, twins, about 4 years old. Anyway, walking along, and I didn't know them, I didn't know who they were, but clearly my brother-in-law Andy did, because, again, I found out subsequently the gentleman's name was Tony. He came up to Andy, and he shook his hand, and there was obviously a welcome. They knew each other from some time in the past. And with that, Tony then turned to the lady and said something, and with that, she came forward and embraced Andy, massive embrace around Andy, tapped his shoulders and all the rest of it, and then planted a kiss firmly on his cheeks. And there was a little bit of chat amongst them, and thank you very much. And Tony and Liz and the two little ones went on their way. And afterwards I went up to Andy. I said, "What's that about?" I said, first of all, who was that? Oh, he said, I used to work with Tony. I said, well, what was that about? I said, and the lady, he said, oh, first time I've ever met her. First time I've ever met her. I said, first time? And you get a nice one of them on the cheek. I said, oh. I said, I wouldn't mind meeting some ladies like that. Don't tell Joss, for God's sake, anyway, that's my wife now. And I said, what? He said, well, he said, what happened? He said, about 5 years ago, he said, before the pits and things all closed down in West Wales, Tony and I used to work with each other. And they were both shot firemen, but also part of that job was they had to go and inspect some of the deepest parts of the mines prior to, but they always went buddied, never went on their own. And they were in this place, and unbeknown to them, Tony subsequently found out that he suffered from diabetes, and he had a seizure, and there was only him and Andy there. And Andy carried him over 50 yards on his shoulders to safety. And he subsequently got out and what have you. And I said, oh, that's quite something. He said, yeah. He said, he said, I hadn't paid much attention to it, he said. And I said, well, how does that relate to this? He said, well, that's the first time I've seen Tony since. And he said, I certainly never met his wife, and his wife came up to me, hugged me, kissed me, and said, thank you for the two twins, or for the twins, I should say, because without my actions, they wouldn't have been there. And how that relates to me and compelling case, to be fair, is the way I view that, is there are times, I'm sure, if we're all honest with ourselves, that we've sort of said, well, I certainly was in that space, where I thought people come to work and all they want to do is work, earn money, and they don't care about anything else. And dear, that's not true. They care about each other, they know what they're doing, and know the best way to do it, and they also know what to do in an emergency, generally speaking. And I think that fits rather nicely in to where we're going now, is put some trust in them and talk to them about things, and maybe ask them, what would you do in this situation, what is the best way to get around it, on a bit of an emotional side. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I will remember it forever. Okay, thank you very much.